Hello everybody, welcome back to our channel. And today we want to talk to y'all about why it is probably not the best idea to use free online legal services to draft family wealth planning documents.
It's all cookie cutter plan. And I get it. It's very easy to access. You just register an account, right? And then click a few buttons, and then here, this is your will.
Right.
And then you check the box.
For a few seconds, it's done for you.
Right.
I mean, have you ever done something like that? Like tried to go the easier route and it backfired?
Well, that actually kind of reminds me. I think everybody probably have experience like that. We ever try to solve the problem quickly and then go with a cheaper option. So later on, we have to spend more money to correct the mistakes. Currently, our office is in Tech Ridge, Austin, Texas. And I bought this office a couple years ago. It's pretty much ready to go, but the only renovation that I need to do is to repaint the wall. At that time, my current lease was about to expire and I don't want to extend it. So I only have like 1 or 2 weeks to move in. But at that time, it's really hard to find a handyman, professional painter in Austin within a week. So what I did instead is I hired somebody on TaxRabbit. So 2 kids came in and then they showed me some photos. I made sure that they had some experience.
Yeah.
So I left the room to them, and then after a couple days, I came back. It was terrible. So the color is not even. I didn't even make like complicated requests like, hey, this part is gonna be 2 color. It's all just white.
Yeah.
Just repaint it is pretty easy. And then when I came back and see it, the color is not even. And then the worst thing is they ruined my floor. So you can see the difference. Like some rooms, the floor is like the wood floor, and some are like carpet. They didn't cover my floor. So it should be like maybe $2,000 job to repaint the wall, but I end up spending like more than at least double, maybe $6,000 to change the whole floor.
Yeah.
And it takes longer.
Yeah. So what she thought was going to be like a quick and easy, cheaper solution ended up taking twice the time and twice the money and twice the effort. And so those are just situations that, especially when it comes to your legal documents, you don't want to be dealing with that kind of situation, you know?
Oh no, yeah, that is more important. Like legal documents, your family wealth plan, right? That is more serious than just like the painting job. So I'm sure that everybody have some experience like that. You spend less money and get something quicker, but later on you realize, oh, this is not going to be enough, or sometimes it's too late. So I think that probably will put you in the worst scenario.
Right. When it comes to family wealth planning, there are a few reasons that we think are just of extreme significance and importance in why you should visit an attorney, a professional, rather than trying to go the free online route. One of the biggest thing that in my head that comes to mind is those are cookie cutter plans, right? So as I mentioned in the beginning, family wealth planning is all about customization and it being personal to the client. And when you use those free legal services, all you are really getting is a template, a cookie cutter plan that uses just the most basic of language. And it probably just won't fit your plans. You know, it's cookie cutter plan and you can't make any adjustments to it.
Right. And there's no interaction, right? You don't know if the cookie cutter plan fits your family situation.
Right.
You can't ask questions. There's no real person for you to raise your concerns and get your questions answered.
Right. And on that note too, the other thing to think about is some of the language and the terms used in legal drafts are complicated, extremely complicated. And, you know, not everyone knows those terms. I didn't know those terms until I went to law school. And when you try to draft
it's not like a plain language.
No, it's not. It's definitely not in plain language. And so then you're sitting there and you don't know what it's asking for, and you don't really have anyone to talk to ask because you're doing it online. So that could just cause like some frustration and take up some time that you thought you were going to avoid when you started using this service, but then you end up sitting there frustrated and not knowing really what the next steps are.
And then also, if you use the free service online, you can get your plan updated.
Something we do for our clients specifically here at Springdale is we review our clients' plans every 3 years free of charge. We do that to ensure that they always reflect your current situation, your current family structure, your current assets. What house do you own? What car do you own at that point? And we do that as a courtesy to our clients because we want y'all to have a plan that when it's time to use it, you can use it with no hassle and no issue. So that's something that it's not offered if you use a free service.
So your money is well spent. So you probably only need to do this once and then answer all the questions and talk to attorneys and have one perfect plan drafted. And then we also do free review every 3 years to make sure it's updated.
Right. In between those 3 years, if something comes up that okay, this is probably going to affect my family wealth estate plan. If you don't have an attorney, you can't call and just say, hey, I made this transaction or I bought this. Can you please update it for me? That's just something you can't do when you draft it yourself using a free service. You would have to go in and do it all over again. Whereas if you hire an attorney, you just give them a text, call, email, fax, whatever, and tell them, hey, I need a change made, and you know that it'll be done.
So it's a long-term relationship, right? It's not just a quick sales or quick transaction.
And it feels so impersonal.
One-time transaction.
Right. And there's no, personal relationship involved when you do it online. There's a form of trust and understanding between you and your attorney. And you don't have that. It just feels not like a real thing almost.
And also another thing is if you do that online for free, I can say absolutely they don't give you the funding instruction.
Right.
We all know funding is very important when it comes to the living trust.
If you want something like a living trust set up in your family wealth plan, there's no instructions provided on an online service. And that's kind of one of the more complex aspects of setting up a living trust is the funding. And if you go have an attorney do that for you, they can instruct you on exactly how to do it, why you're doing it, and what the process is. And it's a lot less stressful on you as a person to have someone there who knows what they're talking about and can ensure that everything you're doing is correct.
And for people who doesn't know what the funding is about, and funding is the most important step after you establish the living trust. We always say that think about living trust is like a safe, and then if you only buy a safe and put it in your house, the safe is empty. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't avoid the probate. It doesn't protect your assets. You need to put your money inside of those boxes. So that's called funding. Funding is the title transfer to transfer your assets from your individual to the living trust. Then your assets will be protected.
Right. And it can be a very intimidating process if it's something that you're trying to do on your own. So if you invest the money and the time now to sit down with your attorney, tell them exactly what you want, what you're looking for, and what your goal is, you'll have that in-depth meeting with your attorney. They'll understand your situation. They'll get to know you as a person, and they can draft a plan that reflects exactly what you want it to.
And not even just the online free service. Some law firms, they don't even talk about funding. I was so surprised. Do you remember last week we have a client? It's a very nice couple. They came here from California. They had a plan drafted with a local law firm in California, and then they came in with a nice binder with all the documents, and they said, oh, we want an attorney to review it. And then when I talk about funding, they don't know what funding is about.
Right.
I was like, wow, you spent a couple $1,000s to have a nice binder and have a planning, but your safe is empty.
Yes, right. And it seemed like they just didn't even know what they had in their hand. Like, they could read the binder and what it said, but they didn't really seem to understand what the attorney had even drafted for them.
This is very common. Surprisingly, like I think you thought that, well, I hired an attorney, I spent a couple $1,000s. The attorney should inform me or let me know exactly what's in there, right? But most of the people, they don't know what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, but that's not our goal. So what we're trying to do is we guarantee that when you walk out of the office, you understand every single language.
Right.
And we need to make sure that you feel comfortable before you sign the document.
Right. And we always make sure to carve out enough time. If it takes an hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours, to sit down with our clients and make sure, because that first initial meeting is so important. And we always just, to the best of our ability, try to prevent our clients from walking out of our office with a confused look on their face. We want them to smile.
Right.
We want them to be able to go home
Yeah.
and explain to their kids or their friend their
Yeah.
awesome plan we drafted for them.
Yeah.
And so that's really important to us.
I had a couple clients that they're single and they have assets. They just decided they never want to get married, and then they came to the office. They drafted a plan. They have a great life, a good job. They don't need to worry about their kids, and they travel all the time. So they came to the office for the signing ceremony. She was so happy. She's like, I'm so like, it's such a relief after I sign this. I'm going on a trip to Europe, and then now I can go and enjoy my vacation.
Yes.
That's the feeling. That's something that we want.
Peace of mind.
Exactly.
Right. And so we just cannot emphasize enough that to take the time, the energy, and the money to invest in your plan now, rather than having to still invest that money and time, and then in a year, 5, 10 years, have to correct the mistakes, the plan that you may have drafted using one of the free services, or even a different law firm who wasn't super tailored to your questions and concerns. So it'll save you money in the long run, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want you to waste your money and then have a cookie cutter plan, or thought that everything has been taken care of, but in fact it doesn't. Right. So when it's too late, you couldn't do anything, right?
So yeah, it is much better to sit down with an attorney now, start working on that personal relationship with your attorney, and so that you can make sure that your plan is drafted well in accordance with the law, of course, and you won't be left with a million questions that are unanswered because you don't have someone to call and ask.
Great. Hopefully our video can help you save money and save time and do everything right. If you like our video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe the channel. We'll see you next time.
Bye.